Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Muckyhope Productions. I'm your host, Muckyhope, and oh my gosh, I'm a happy man. I'm a happy Sasquatch. I am a happy, joyful kid again. It's like when you're like 6 years old. It's Christmas Eve. You wake up. It's just about to be Christmas Day. You think you can hear Santa walking down the hallway because I'm talking to my two best friends, my two closest friends. You know, these two people I look up to every single day. These two people, like, it doesn't matter if I'm sleeping, having a shower, doing a podcast. I think to them for inspiration, and I'm just one happy man. And I'll start off, as always, with a lovely, beautiful lady on my right. I don't know what I'll do without her. She's my ride or die, even though she would never go to rocks for me. Everyone, please welcome the great Michelle. Michelle, how's it going?
Hello. You've introduced us like we're your parents or something, and that's a scary world. Sorry.
Well, I mean, like, I have joked that Brendan was my, spoiler alert, Brendan's here too, but I have joked that Brendan's like my Aussie dad. He was my dad when I was in Melbourne, and I feel like you could almost be my mum in Sydney.
Yes, I know. It's scary, totally scary. Could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh gosh, what a nightmare of a childhood that would be. But anyways,
no, I know that Brendan and I would have the nightmare having to bring you up.
Mom, Dad, I want my chalky milk. Mom, Dad, let's watch Survivor, drink chalky milk.
Yeah, exactly.
And also coming in, as I mentioned, you know, he's my father in Melbourne. He's the daddy I always wanted. Everyone, please welcome the great Australian Survivor memes. How's it going, brother?
Hey, good to be here. I would like to elaborate on those shower thoughts you've been having. I don't know if this is the Cheeky Naughty podcast for that, but yeah, no, good to be here. I actually have been looking forward to this just because it's, as much as when the season had finished, I felt a bit Survivor out. It's like, it's good to get that little, like, just that little taste again. Like, it's, yeah, like, and now that it's all relaxed and it's over, it's like, oh, actually, I do want more. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, speaking of which, Michelle, you really wanted this podcast to happen. So tell me, what are we talking about, Michelle?
Yeah. Could you enlighten me on what we're actually
on
this evening?
Well, it was your idea, so feel free to take the wheel on this one, Michelle.
Okay. We're going to talk about critical thinking in the kindergarten classroom. There you go. How do you think you'll fare?
Well, I think when it comes to critical thinking in the kindergarten, right, there are many different factors involved because, one, you can be quite critical on how the kids act, but then also, two, they're young bloody kids, you know, they're like infants. So can you really be critical of an infant?
Yes.
It's like, you could be like, come on, use your brain. It's not fully developed yet. So
I think maybe some of the Survivor fans should go to Michelle for some critical thinking, like just before some of the posts that we see. And some of the comments, some of the opinions, they clearly they must have skipped that class.
Yeah. Well, there's one comment that I do want to read out because when I saw this
already. What? How can we have people? No? We're not live.
What are you even talking about, Michelle? What are you even talking about?
Hang on, where are you getting the comment from?
What? Yeah, no, this is no comment. This is a comment on the Facebook post, all right? Right. So I'm going to read it out word for word. So the comment was about, well, the original post was about this cast on Australian Survivor. I think it was like top 4, top 5. Is this the worst cast in Australian Survivor history? This person had commented, yes, they are the worst cast I've ever seen, and I've watched a lot of Survivor, lol. This season seems scripted and set up for Brooke to either win or go very deep. They can squeeze every drop of the returning narrative, much like the setup for Parvati to win Australia vs. the world. All the immunity challenges are to her strengths and everything falling into her lap because of common sense and mistakes by other players. As for the rest of the cast, they've either never seen an episode of Survivor or they're just that dumb. I've never seen a season with so many botched tribal mistakes to the point I nearly turned it off last night. There's been many stupid points, but Caleb gunning for Mark when challenge beast Simon was there for the taking. Risking voting out the goat Blanche, who would be perfect to take to the end, when they even called out that one of the idols was a fake. Jackson flipping from leader of majority to the bottom of a different lines, which didn't even up the numbers, was dumb. Having the majority, then voting out one of your own, another goat Cameron, who would also be a perfect goat to take to the end, which once again evened up the numbers up. Not voting Brooke out when she could legit win every challenge now to the final has to be scripted for the narrative. They've been building all season. Lol, let's not vote out the person with the biggest time in the game. Likeable and challenge based. Yeah, okay. Lol. Caleb even worked out she only had half an idol and not even one vote win for her. Even Cameron voted Jackson instead. Makes 0 sense. Lol. He says lol a lot in this comment. It's just been shockingly horrible play. And then throwing these players that now try and amp it up in confessionals because people know this gets more airtime. It's obvious majority of this cast aren't Survivor fans.
It's obviously something he needs to go play Survivor, obviously. Like, seriously.
Like, play a Sydney Survivor or
play anything. He just needs get him to try and get to the end. Come on. Seriously.
That would sound like he'd be really entertaining to watch. Like, just as go out there, very likely be a first boot, but just do one episode of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that comment, it felt like it took an entire episode just to read
it. Exactly. Well, I mean, Michelle, we're here to talk about Australian Survivor Redemption. It's been a week now. By the time this comes out, it'll be a couple of weeks since it's come out. What's your thoughts overall, Australian Survivor Redemption?
Overall, I think it was a top half season of all the seasons, top half of our rankings. I thought it was great in that we got to see those 4 players return and see how they played with the newbies and see the different kinds of gameplay that they did and what was beneficial gameplay and what just made them crash and burn. And then it was good to see the newbies trying to tackle them and see how they would play with them. And no, it's not necessarily the right thing to just vote off all the returnees first because you need a shield. It's fantastic that they actually kept some of them around and they actually thought about their gameplay and thought about strategy to the end.
And how about you, Australian Survivor Memes? What's your overall thoughts and feelings on the season?
This is definitely one of the better seasons. Not sure rankings wise, but it's definitely in the top half, like Michelle said, in my opinion as well. I thought it was a very fun season. It was satisfying in that the people I didn't like got their comeuppance, like Mark, for example. Like I've been for weeks, like I was like, please, like he needs to go out. This is the perfect time, and this is the perfect time. And eventually, there was a few satisfying payoffs. I think the finale was surprisingly better than I thought it would be. Given that when you saw the final 4, you're like, oh yeah, this is how it's going to happen, and it's so obvious. And it was completely the opposite. I'm very happy with the winner. When I think of the season, thinking Caleb is the face of that season now. I'm happy with that. The whole redemption thing worked well with the returnees, but it was a bit of a stretch to tell everyone had their own redemption story when they didn't show half of the people at all. I think it was just a theme just to get returnees on, which fine, whatever. David also very pleasantly surprised with him. I wasn't sure. I thought same with JLP. It took me a few seasons to like him. I thought that would be the same with David, but it was an instant sort of this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's entertaining. I like watching him on my TV. You feel like he really loves Survivor. It's not just a job for him. Overall, I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed some of the moves were pretty flashy. I enjoyed the host. It was entertaining all around.
Yeah. What's so funny is I do think the redemption theme, I feel like you could also use it, but not have any returning players as well. I think it's so easy to have returning players with a redemption story, but people like Caleb, he's been wanting to kind of escape the life he's been living. He's like a truck driver. He wants to sort of course correct his life. Sally, with the recent loss of her brother, she kind of wants, a positive change for her family to kind of break out of that. But even just with Jackson, which I feel like with Jackson, he really hit the nail because I guess he did get that redemption arc in the end without even winning on what the redemption theme was supposed to be. He's up there. He was saying that how he's had a rough relationship with his mum. His mum would never get on a plane to see him. she flies out just to see him for this moment, and she's, you know, telling him, no, it's okay, you did like bloody great, you're awesome and stuff. And it's such a great heartwarming moment. And Strength Survivor memes, like, I can't remember, I think, you know, Michelle, I said on the podcast for a recap, last time I felt this emotional about a challenge was when Luke dropped the ball in season 4.
Oh yeah,
with Jackson.
That was big. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get emotional over this season, but except and emotion, you know, you have to take it with a grain of salt with me. When Simon got voted out, I was quite sad, and not so much with Brooke, because she was quite oh God, I don't know the word. She was good about it all, but Simon, it really affected him, and you know, you could see he was really emotional through the entire game anyway, because things would affect him through the game. So I think when he went out, a lot of people were really sad. He really did get a redemption arc this season.
Yeah.
Harry, not so much. He went out too early. Mark's game was about the same. I didn't see him have redemption in any way in that. I think his redemption would be if he won. But otherwise, Simon had the biggest redemption arc out of all 4 returnees.
Yeah. Well, Strength Survivor memes, just to put you on the spot now that you're chewing, what was about for you that was really rooting for Simon this season? Was it just because of his past 2 games were like a bit of stuff ups? Like, was something specific about this game? What made you, and I guess many of us fans, really root for Simon this season?
I think he's always, especially the heroes versus villains, he really got like the comic relief, like the idiot sort of edit. Like we were always making fun of him. It was like I remember there was that quote he tried to give, you live long enough, you either die here or live long enough to be the villain, and then it was like he just stuffed up the quote, and they like really like put that on like 6 times in an episode sort of thing in all the ads.
Yeah.
So I think they really went from this character of like he can't do anything right and he's like a laughing stock, to someone who started off like, I even messaged him. I was like, oh, they're giving you the clown edit again. Like I forgot what happened right at the start, but I was like, it sounds like he's almost getting a bit of like a jokey edit again. But then to see like how he got to 100 days, which was a big thing, especially the way he did it. Like if he didn't win immunity, he was probably gone. The fact that he was able to pull off some moves, he was able to correct his mistakes. Like, sure, it would have been nice if he won, but I think the fact that he went out there and basically changed his perception, like our perception of him, by pulling off big moves, by controlling what he could control, by doing some, like, big things. I think it just showed, like, towards the end, everyone was rooting for him. I don't think, regardless of like who else you liked on the show, I think everyone was like a fan of Simon. So I think he really he got his big redemption at the end. And again, would have been nice if he won, but I don't think for redemption purposes, I don't think he needed to win.
Yeah, something as well about Simon, which I think we can all agree, he's just so great to the fans of the show as well. Like, if you send him a message, he's not going to like just leave you on scene or just like leave you on delivered or whatnot. Like, he always takes the time to respond to your messages. You know, like Michelle, you were sharing the story about the finale.
Yeah.
Oh, he got the shirt and the hat. Like how he's like throwing out the hat. Yeah, how he's like throwing out the hat to everyone in the crowd and whatnot. So, what's that?
I said it looks better on him because he's got more hair. So
yeah,
I'd like to push it all the way up.
Yeah, I heard if you drink more milk, the more hair you'll grow.
I mean, I think we can't argue with the science on that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, you know, going straight back to Simon, like, he's just so great to like the fans of the show, and you know, I guess because he's a massive fan himself, he understands the audience of the show and whatnot, and I think he really does give the people what they want. Would you agree, Michelle?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I told you about the finale story, so you're just giving stuff out all the time, and he was saying hello to people, and he was fantastic. And you know, I wish I had more time to spend with him, like a whole finale, you know, like a showing like we do in Sydney. Because I still don't really know him very well, but I know him through messages, and he's just so lovely and he's so accommodating. Yeah.
Yeah. And Michelle, what do you think about David Gannat as the host? The first ever Survivor player to become the host? What's your thoughts?
I thought he was good. I thought so. He sometimes has voice changes, like he uses a real guttural voice sometimes for to put like emphasis on something, or he wants a certain word to sound a different way. And I liked it. He doesn't need to do it, but I didn't mind what he did. But I think some people thought he was putting stuff on, and it's not that he's putting stuff on. He just wants to make some different words emphasized. And, his empathy during the game was evident in, how he treated the players, how he let them say goodbye at the podium, the redemption people, the 4 returnees. He, at the final challenge, he, went and got them down off the pegs and held them, especially with Jackson. You can get them down off the pegs and then put them straight on the ground. He didn't do that though. He just hugged him because he knew he was just bereft of any hope of, winning the challenge. And I think he did really well in knowing the game and having empathy and understanding what the players were going through.
Yeah, 100%. And I think something as well, I think like similar thing with Simon, David, like he's been there, he's done it, he knows what the fan wants. And, Australian Survivor, you actually got to meet David at the St. Kilda Festival. What's your story on actually getting to finally meet David?
So I got there. I met up with Mucky's friend as well, who I met through Mucky. Basically got there, and at that point he was on stage like being interviewed, and so I did the whole thing where you line up and you get your buff and you take a photo and whatever. And then there was another lady you'll know her from your page as well, Michelle. Mucky's met her, Sandra. And Sandra was like, "Don't worry, I'll get David. Like, you don't have to line up. Like he knows me. Don't worry." Anyway, as David's to get off the stage to where he was like going to meet up with fans, maybe about a 100-meter walk, and he got swarmed. And I was holding Maya, and I'm like, I'm not going to run through a crowd. Like holding, at that time she was like what was she, like 2 months old?
Yes.
So anyway, I'm just like, I'm going to have to line up, and I'm looking back at where the line's going. I'm like, this is easily going to be like over an hour, 2 hours long. And then, so I had the buff, Maya was wearing a buff, and then some camera guy was like, "Oh, do you mind if I take a photo of your baby? Like, she's so cute with the buff on." And he's like, telling me like, "Yeah, I work at the St. Kilda Festival, and like the Channel 10, they've hired me, and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Anyway, he takes some photos, and then he goes, "Oh, come with me." And he just like grabs my arm and pulls me and goes, "David, one more photo." So, and then just by chance, I messaged him like the week before to say a photo of Maya wearing the All Stars buff. And I was like, "Oh, my daughter's been a fan of you her whole life. Like, she can't wait to meet you." And then when I told, he met, he like remembered that message and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, this is your lifelong fan." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that message." And so got to have a photo, got to push, get out, skip the queue. And then while I saw the queue, I was just like lingering around. So like, "Oh, let's see what else is going around here before I wander off." And I saw some other people, including Tez, which I got to meet Tez as well. And anyway, I see these guys lined up that I know they ran another page. And I came back like over an hour later, and they were still waiting in the queue, and like almost, it felt like they'd barely moved. So I was like really grateful that I got to skip this like multi-hour long queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michelle, you got to and Michelle, you got to meet David as well at the premiere watch party, right?
Yes, yeah, he came along to give out some buffs to us. So he gave me 8 buffs, of which 4 went on the game that we did there, the trivia game. Went to a team of 4, and then the other 4, 1 went to the manager of the pub who organises them. 1 went to me, and then 2 went to auction for the Sydney Children's Hospital.
Oh, nice. And how was it like meeting David like in person as well?
Oh, good. I mean, he came over to me. I think he first walked in and he saw my friend Archangel Michael. He was TikToking all things Sydney. So he was doing a live and he had his he was just looking, his camera was looking out at the street. And then next minute, David walks up behind him on the live and puts his arm around Michael. So it was all crazy. And then everyone wanted to talk to him. And then he came over to me and gave me the buffs and said hello. And it was so lovely. I mean, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him there, but, I've spent time talking to him on text, and he's really lovely and he's really friendly. He doesn't leave, as you've said with Simon, he doesn't leave a message unchecked or unseen. So it was really nice.
Yeah, and I think that's the overall gist of David. Even, preseason, he's hiding the buffs and $500 like all around the big cities as well. He's trying to get the fan engagement there. He went on like multiple different like podcast channels to talk about like the season, trying to hype it up and whatnot. And everyone that I've chatted to who's met David has only said the most wonderful things about him.
And buffs,
I think
the buffs he did by himself. Channel 10 did not arrange that. He decided to hide the buffs in each city. So that was all on him, flying around and doing those things that he did.
Yeah. And while like how much of it is Channel 10 and how much of it's JLP, like I feel like JLP was quite removed from the Survivor space. Like he was the host, but that was it. There was nothing more to it. But it seems like with David, he's very much more engaged with the fans, trying to like engage with them, talk with them. He's done many posts like, oh, ask me any question you want. I'm free for the next couple of hours. Like, send me anything. Like, he really does put in a huge effort to engage with the fans. And I think this is such a great thing for a Survivor host in general.
I think he needed to, because there was a lot of backlash against him hosting. And I think he needed to put in the hard yards at the beginning of this season just to try and win the fan base back. JLP in himself, lovely human being. He's just very professional, like to keep the wall of professionalism up there, which is a bit different considering David's met fans when he was a player. He went to promote promo events a long time ago when he did a promo event at Channel 10. I saw him there. So he's used to seeing fans, and he's used to that sort of, I suppose, adoration back when he was playing. So he's used to knowing how to handle fans. JLP obviously could handle fans because he had an acting career in the past, so he knows how to, but he's a different kind of person. David is very outgoing. JLP is, quite quiet.
Yeah. And it's just fun, it's like, what's your thoughts on David moving forward? You've now seen this one season of him as a host. Are you excited to see him as a host again moving forward and for the potential rest of Australian Survivor?
Yeah. I was very happy with him as the host. As much as I love JLP, and I was pretty upset when I heard he was leaving, and I was a bit skeptical with David, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I think what Michelle was saying, there are differences between the two. Like David's a lot more, or definitely he's trying to be a lot more connected with the fans. An example is that, because I know he shared a few of my things, which never would happen with JLP, or even a lot of the players would get a bit funny, but he shared a lot of fan stuff, which I think he realizes it means a lot to fans. Like if something gets shared, you get really excited. You're like, oh my God, David shared my post, or David responded, it's just big deal. So I think he knows that, and I think he also understands. Well, maybe this is unintended, but I feel with Survivor and the fan base, you need to have that core of Survivor fans. You don't want to have these people who flick between maths and Idol, and you want to basically build a core group of fans and expand that slowly over time. You don't want to just be let's make some crazy angle and advertise Sue's big move, hoping that people switch over. And then the next week, Maths does something. It's they're just going to watch that show. You want people to be engaged as a long-term fan. And I think the way he's interacting, I'm fairly certain every single fan that he spoke to during his trips all over, would have something positive to say, and that will have a long-lasting effect because they'll be like, "Oh, I had a good interaction with him. Every time I see him on TV, it's a good experience." Whereas the same thing, like if we've ever had a bad interaction with a player, you every time you see that player, like you get annoyed. Like, you want them off your screen. He's made a very big effort to connect with the fans. I think it's worked with the fans he's connected. Obviously, the ratings have been pretty bad overall. I don't think that's necessarily a reflection on him, but I think it's definitely something he's in right, which is better than what JLP was doing, and that's just the way he's interacting and connecting with fans.
Yeah, well, one thing that I think has definitely helped him has been his word on things. So like Michelle, at one point he posted on his Instagram, which I'm sure you would have seen. It was the episode when Blanche, Mark, and Ben, when them three went out, like what is it? He said that this is the I think it was Rich, Mark, Blanche, and Ben. I don't know. It was during those weeks, right? Like during that period, he was posting everywhere saying that this is some of the best tribal councils you will ever see. And we've seen that being advertised many, many times before. You know, Sue's big move, as you brought up, Australian Survivor memes. Yeah. You know, the famous one I always think of is one of these 5 players will go home next. You know, and it'll be like 4 people from one tribe, 1 person from the other, and that one person ends up going to tribal. And obviously the most famous one is the George tribal with George, Simon, and Fraser and whatnot. But I feel like that's been this is the best tribal ever that's actually really hit. But I feel like with David, when he promised, these are some of the best tribals you'll see, that actually were the best tribals like in that season. So I think David's word, I think in the long run, will actually help build up the fan base.
Yeah. Harry's one was good. Harry's, I was about to say eviction. Harry's, when Harry went, that was a good tribal. Yeah,
no, I agree. And I'd love to discuss what we think the future of Australian Survivor is going to be. Obviously, new hosts this season was quite different in how they advertised the show as well. It wasn't like, I felt like the edit was quite fairly spread out, except for Mark, which was obviously a bit of a letdown where majority of I think Mark left the season with the most confessionals by a country mile to everyone else. But I guess what's quite good though is that normally it's always 4 to 9 people have the most confessionals, and everyone else is in like the low 10s or somewhere in like the 10s and whatnot, never breaking the 20s. But yeah, Michelle, I'd love to hear from your perspective in terms of the editing of the show, the challenges, whatnot. What would you like to see improve, and what would you like to see stay?
Puzzles. We didn't have enough puzzles this season. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the ball challenges, but not everyone is good at those. And I think it needs to be a bit of an equal playing field in that some people are good at puzzles, some people are good at the balls, and the balancing and stuff like that. So a few more cerebral type challenges I'd love. Yeah.
Well, one challenge that really stuck out to me this season, Michelle, was I think it was like episode 3, episode 4, where it was one where Simon has a great quote of, you know, don't drop your tools, climb a scaffold, don't drop your tools, where you have to make the puzzle up. It's like that wonky ladder kind of thing, and then you have to throw the balls after it. Like, I think that's where you get a great combination of puzzles, but also like a physicality aspect to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I was actually I think it was that challenge as well. Something I enjoyed. There were a few of the mechanics of the challenge which I enjoyed, which was it got harder as you progress. So if you're doing a balancing thing, it gets harder because the balance beams get thinner, narrower. If you're doing this climbing up a rope thing challenge, it's like the higher you climb, the more wonky it got. So it became harder as you progressed. Whereas my big gripe with puzzles is as you get more of the puzzle done, it actually gets a lot easier and quicker to do. So to me, it's like, it is an equalizer in the sense, like initially it's like, okay, well, how do we do this 50-piece puzzle while we've got pressure and tide and whatever? But with a challenge where it gets harder as you progress, like that to me, I enjoy. And I feel like as a game mechanics point of view, like that really works. there were a few things which were specifically with the challenges which bugged me. I don't know why they continue to do this. Like, if it's a challenge where it's like divide into 2 teams, why have that when there's an odd number of people left? And then I think Cameron was sitting out of one, and he got to pick a team or bet on a team.
Yeah.
There was another challenge where it was the carrot in a box challenge, and Faith went twice because they did it at an uneven point. So it's like those little things. I'm like, did no one like go through the schedule and like say, hang on a sec, this doesn't quite work because we don't have the people.
And there's no excuse for that, considering no one was medevaced this season and no one quit. So that's actually no excuse. In other seasons, when someone suddenly leaves and they've got the numbers are weird fine. But not this season. That didn't need to happen.
And I can confirm. I was just going to say, I can confirm that Sally also went twice as well. I recently did a deep dive with Asha, which will obviously come out before this comes out. And apparently Asha got a cheese board in her one. And but this was after Brooke had tricked Sally. And so when Asha's like, I have a cheese board, Sally was like, no, you don't. And I forgot what she got, but apparently there was another really crap thing as well. So Sally got done pretty dirty twice. So yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, this has been, regardless of the season that it's on, whenever they have the challenges, which is like 1v1 or 2v2, and it's like first to 5 or whatever, it's very like, from the stories you hear, it's like, they'll have all 8 people on each tribe have a go, and then they just, whoever wins, they just kind of make an edit to make it work. And my thinking is, like, if you're watching AFL or NRL or soccer or whatever, not every single game comes down to the wire. It's still entertaining, and like you're still rooting for your team, whether they win by 1 or they win by 50. Like with those challenges, if it is a blowout, just show it as a blowout. Like show it maybe the first 2 look kind of close, and then just show the other team just steamrolled them over. At the end of the day, like you can still make it. It doesn't have to be dramatic and on a like who's going to win, but you can still have it in a way that's entertaining. And you're not watching Survivor to see which tribe wins the challenge. At the end of the day, you're watching Survivor to see who gets voted out. So I just feel like it's like, I don't know why they do that every single season. They make these challenges unnecessarily down to the wire when it's obviously not. Like you can see from the edit that it's this doesn't make sense. But they try, like, I don't know. It's just a gripe of mine.
Because even at several points in the challenge, like, not challenge, like across season, David was saying that Blanche is a challenge beast. And, I believe that after meeting Blanche, like, I can see that, like, she would be a challenge beast in those 1v1s, but we never saw it.
Yeah.
We never saw it. And I think it was, and Tez's, his not the promo shot, the intro shot, it's him doing the tug of war, but they never showed him doing the tug of war, and I did really like that challenge. But I definitely agree with you. Trying to survive memes, like show it being a blowout. It doesn't have to be all right. Show us the whole duration of every single round. You can just easily do it in like a montage. As well.
Like, I think South African Survivor. I remember one challenge where I think one tribe won every single one-on-one challenge, and they just showed that they didn't try and make it as if like it was really close. They were like, no, tribe A just completely dominated tribe B, and they just it was like a montage of just people getting like destroyed. And at the end of the day, that's more memorable than like all 24 challenges are down to the wire. Like, it loses its, like, when it's actually down to the wire, it loses its like aura.
Yeah, 100%. And there's some really great challenges in the season, like even just now they mentioned the tug of war one, like that requires a wee bit of brains and a wee bit of brawn as well, because how do you make it lighter for your side to pull you through so you can shoot into the basket, but also you need the brawn to do the tug of war as well.
Totally. It was a good little twist on the tug of war game. I really love that challenge. I love that a lot of our challenges were very original. The US just keeps playing out the same challenges over and over again. They have done, I think, 1 or 2 new ones this season, And gosh, I'm shocked because it's like they never do it different. But we're really good at bringing out new challenges. I love them.
Yeah. But also doing what's really great, the challenges are also in different locations. Like I'm sure if you were to play every challenge side by side, yeah, you might see some familiar places and whatnot, but every challenge looks like it's set in a different part of the Samoan jungle or like on the beach or whatnot, you know, whereas with American Survivor, it's always at the same two places.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to pick up on. And even another challenge I'm thinking of right now, but what do you guys think of the individual immunity challenge in the pre-merge where you actually have to pair up with someone from the other tribe?
Oh, awful. Your fate is in someone else's hands. I'd rather have the fate just in my own hands, unless you get paired with the challenge beast, and then yeah, go ahead. But oh no, I don't like being in someone else's hands.
Really? How about your Survivor games?
I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, and it's trying to like build like relationships, like inter-tribe relationships, and try get some drama. It does feel like it's a bit manufactured, the drama, which so like as soon as I see that's where my brain goes. Like I don't really care so much for the actual challenge itself. Like, yeah, lifting your arm up, like it's there's always variations of that. That one was, yeah, they were lifting their arms up to keep it up for a while. Or, yeah. I don't know. I felt like it was like put in there just as like a ploy to like try create some sort of drama, which did feel a bit I don't know, forced.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a huge fan of those.
Yeah, see, I like those kind of challenges if there's like a twist sort of involved. You know, I hate to bring up Survivor twists, but like, yeah, have it some sort of like cross play with the other tribe, or have like a challenge that I did really enjoy in Branson's Brawn 2 was the one where you had to like solve the puzzle and like throw it down, but the puzzle was there's an idol in like the coconuts. Do you guys recall that challenge?
Gosh.
I think it was the first one that Miles found, and it was when AJ was first doing his
yeah.
And the puzzle they solved was there is an idol in like the coconuts, and that's one that Miles first found. Yeah, just stuff like that. Just add more interesting element to challenges, because
well, that just everyone just left the challenge. It was just went pear shaped. That was that was fun to actually watch.
Yeah, it was chaotic, but yeah, again, that's something that's like they put it in there. At least in this case, there's like a very like big reward that like you can find an idol, albeit most likely a public idol, so it does kind of become like a non-powerful idol. I don't know. Like there was always, I remember when I first played an online Survivor game, and I came up with this idea for a challenge, and in my mind I was like, this would be so cool, like if you paired up with someone, and then like halfway through the challenge, like let's say there's 10 pairs. So halfway through the challenge, like just as the challenge starts, then the host announces, oh, just by the way, the first 5 that drop, you're all going to tribal council. So it's like, it becomes like 5 from one tribe, 5 from another tribe. And the other 5 pairs, they'll just go back to their beach afterwards and they'll be immune. And I was like, yeah, that could be, but then it's also, it just becomes too chaotic and messy, and it's like, a bit all over the place. And I feel like if you're gonna have these like intertribal sort of dynamics, it's never like easy enough to follow as a fan, but also like dramatic enough to like be worth it, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I just find there's nothing that's quite worked yet with these intertribal challenges, and then even the intertribal tribal councils, I feel like always a bit of a flop in the end.
Yeah. Well, that was actually the very next thing I was going to ask. Michelle, at what point do we start introducing joint tribal councils in Australian Survivor? They love the fire-making one, before the vote, after the vote. Like, at what point should they just be like, no, we're going to a vote? You can even do it like South African Survivor style, where it's like the tribe that wins the challenge, they're all immune, but they still get to like vote as well.
You mean having 2 votes at one tribal council?
So both tribes at one tribal council, and one person goes home.
Like Game Changers.
Yeah, it's a game change. So it's when
Malcolm
went, when Wendy went, and Edge of Extinction with 2 tribes going to tribal. When Palissa went and Return of the Outcast as well, there was a twist where obviously they're one tribe, you could vote for anyone in that tribe, but the tribe that won the challenge, they were all completely immune, but they could still cast a vote.
What I would love to see is 2 tribes going, and one tribe has to vote off someone on the other tribe, and the other tribe has to vote someone off on the other tribe. So, but they can't get up and talk. David just suddenly says, right, you are voting off someone tonight from the other tribe. This is after they've had a huge conversation about how they're going. Yeah. They're all there thinking they're voting off someone from their own tribe, but they're actually sitting separate. But then he says, right, it's now time to vote. And they just have to go and wing it.
As a player, I completely hate that, because it's like I could go home when it's like I'm being punished. Like whoever gets voted out is effectively being punished for not having a good relationship with the other tribe. Like,
but you haven't even really talked to the other tribe at all. Like it's going to be so up in the air. I think as a twist, as a one-off, I'd like to see how they handle it.
As a non-elimination, like if it's revealed after the vote, it's non-elimination. I'll stomach that. But yeah, I would. Like, can you imagine if like that tribe, say they went to tribal, and then Simon got voted out just because the other tribe were like, well, Simon's too good at challenges. Like we need to vote him out because he's a threat. Like how like shitty would you feel as a fan? But also as Simon, it's like how would you feel?
But you wouldn't do it on an all-stars or a returning season. You'd have to do it with a tribe of all newbies. And do it at the I don't know, 5th vote out, something like that, early on. I just think it'd be interesting, but I wouldn't want to see it as a recurring twist, you know.
Yeah. See, I feel like these twists
vote it out and then you get put onto the other tribe. Like that's the non-elimination twist. So let's say in like the example I gave, say they were like, oh yeah, Simon's a huge challenge beast, like we want to get rid of him. And then, Simon's on your tribe. Like, I don't know.
I do think that could be a great twist, because then obviously you are aware that they tried to vote you out to eliminate you, but you now have to try and socially integrate yourself in with the other tribe and whatnot. It's almost like the time when they voted for Sean to come on their tribe, but like now he's an angry Sean, for example, you know? So I think that could definitely work. Yeah, and obviously with non-eliminations, there's only one non-elimination in the season, guys. Only one. Can you believe that, Michelle? Only one non-elimination.
No. And I don't understand why the whole Redemption Island or Redemption Rock or whatever it was called, why there was only one of them. Is it that it just seems weird when there's only one?
Of all seasons, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's like, they're going to do this sometime. So production, this is where I think production could have said, right, we're going to do this once. As the season goes on, we'll decide when we're going to do it, rather than just putting in 3. I think they should have literally had 3 redemption, challenges or something where it was just more than, just from one tribal.
Yeah, they should have chucked it in when Harry went. They should have chucked it in when Simon went, and obviously when Mark went as well. Nothing suspicious there.
That would have rolled up the fans.
Yeah, you like if you find an advantage, like instead of an idol, it's a redemption advantage, and then when you get voted out, you can then go to redemption. Like whoever finds this weird contraption or advantage.
Well, definitely, I did also like with Brains and Sprawn too, when Laura and Zara find that advantage, which tells them that tonight's round is going to be a non-elimination. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good twist on itself as well. And
I've always thought, to have it like let it be known that, because then it'll make the vote more. Although having said that, I've always believed that if you go to tribal council, you should be punished, not rewarded. So you shouldn't have the knowledge and to use to your advantage that it's a non-elimination.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because for me, I've always enjoyed non-eliminations, and I know that I've spoken about at length with both of you, but like I feel like non-eliminations has created like great story arcs, but also great rivalries as well. Like Nick isn't the player we know if he's not saved in the fifth episode of season 1, right? The drama with Tara and AK, right? But also gave us a great moment when everyone is shouting out Annalise's name. It's like the second round after Tara, right? And also probably the story of the pre-merge for season 3 is Tegan versus Benji, but that never happens if Tegan is not saved. Sean coming over to the Champions tribe just made that tribe just so much more interesting and tense. Like, oh my gosh, is David and Luke actually going to like make it through? They're playing their idols. Sean is able to dodge and move through. Like, it just made that tribe so much more interesting because of that non-elim twist. I think having a couple a season can really help change some things around and whatnot and start making the rivalries and stuff, but not too many though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think you should always have to vote someone out. It shouldn't be like commit mutiny over or something. Or
I don't like that vote moment to the other tribe.
Yeah, I think it should be, or even the great moment with Kara when she sacrifices herself for George, right? Do we still get that moment if they find out it's a non-elim?
Yeah.
I mean, it would still, but then the fact that she was able to come back and we had the story of Kara and George being so close, it doesn't happen if she's eliminated. At the end of also it took me a long time to accept non-eliminations. It's a part of Australian Survivor because of episode minimums I have to do and like all the sort of logistics and schedules. So I've accepted it. I do feel this one was a lot better than a lot of the others. I don't know how they managed. I guess because I had the finale and the live reunion, so I was able to use an additional episode for that. But as long as if you're holding to the premise of if a tribe goes to tribal council, they need to be punished. They can't be rewarded. Then do whatever non-elimination you want, as long as it ends up with them being punished. I do think if someone gets voted onto the other tribe and it's because this tribe didn't know about it, they're getting punished because they just sent someone out and then now that person is on the other team. So they've actually lost a person, but they've also, the other team has then gained someone who's going to also hate this other tribe. So it's like a double loss. To me, it's like I'm fine with that. In hindsight, at the time I was spewing. I just hated that season in terms of the twists. But I think this one was pretty good. It was a bit weird, like the whole, the top 3 votes are going out, and then they played to win their vote back, and then it became a bit convoluted and a bit like, I don't know, just overly dramatic and maybe a bit like maths. Like they're trying to create this drama, but at least it was once and done. Like it wasn't like 6 episodes and lead up to it, and it was just we had this one episode. It was a bit weird, a bit over the top, and another episode to win the back. And anyway, they were. Yeah,
it was one of those twists where it worked out because Faith got eliminated by the end of it. If Sally got taken out again or Rich or whatnot, then it's oh, okay, it was a dud, right? Similar with the round where Charles went home and Titans vs Rebels. A lot of people liked that twist just because Charles went, because they saved Ferris and Eileen, right? But the odds of them actually winning that challenge, and for that to even happen, was really, really low. So it was a terrible twist, but a great outcome. Yeah. And Michelle, we're moving to Malaysia next. Brand new location. Survivor Malaysia. Are you excited?
Going to use Borneo in Malaysia. I wonder where they're going. Should try and find out.
Well, Michelle, this was your podcast idea. You came in here with a plan. You had one job, and you couldn't even figure that out. Since they haven't even started flying the cast out yet, and you haven't even figured it out. Wow.
Look, I'm sure you're going to keep chatting, and I'm sure this is going to go on for longer. So I'll just text someone who might know if they're going to go back to Borneo. And maybe they'll tell me, because if they're not, then they'll just say, it's somewhere in Malaysia, but I can't tell you where. But let me text Talk between yourselves.
And while Michelle is texting, I just want to say that is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
That is so not true.
Yeah.
So
well,
not true.
I guess we'll chat. Just two men having a yarn, having a drink. Yeah. Malaysia. We're changing locations. What do you think?
I think it's good. Mix it up a bit. I would say it's probably very intentional by Channel 10 to kind of like new host. Let's get a new location. Let's like change the like just mix it up a bit. Like as good as Survivor has been the last few seasons, fans can be very fickle in any reality TV or any sort of genre. Fans do get a bit like, okay, now we've seen this enough. Like it's a bit like if Game of Thrones, like that's I think part of the appeal was that it was so unpredictable and there's always something that you just did not expect to happen. Whereas if we can mix it up, it's something as small as the location gives it a sense of novelty, which will be a bit interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. At the end of the day, I'm going to watch regardless of the location. But I think it'll be nice to see a different beach, different challenge arenas. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, well, once again, it's one of the reasons why I think Australian Survivor has always been a step up from American Survivors because of the challenges, the editing, the plays they cast, but also they went 2 seasons to Samoa, 2 seasons Fiji, 2 seasons Australian Outback, and then they went back, 8, 9, 10, 4 seasons in Samoa, or maybe 5, and then now they're going to Malaysia. Like every few years they do change it up, whereas American Survivor have been on the exact same few beaches, exact same
challenges
since 2015.
I mean, it is easy. Yeah. It is easy because all the props are there. There's a whole team there who can make things. The areas are fine to be used. I can understand why they do, but it's boring now because it used to be, where are they going next season? For the US Survivor particularly.
It used to be every season it'd be something that would be like a big part of the live reunion. You just want to see like a clip from the next where it is.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you something to look forward to. Yeah.
Sorry?
And obviously I was just saying, it gives you something to look forward to, right? It's like, where are they going to go next? What are they going to do? What's the next theme? What's this? But now it's just, here's a series of numbers at the exact same place, doing the same thing with same type of cast, same twist, same everything.
Yeah. So. Rationally, again, we don't know anything about the location other than Malaysia, but it's smart in the sense, it's smart marketing because people are talking about it. So, on top of it, does give that novelty, that sort of new feeling, and keeps things fresh. But at the end of like Michelle was saying, it's not as economical to chop and change every season. There's a lot of benefits from a production point of view, from just a financial point of view, just keeping it there, and then I suppose you try to rely more on the actual story or the characters or whatever. But I would say Channel 10 are trying to just Survivor's their flagship show, so they're going to put all the money into it and try and make it as big as possible. And Malaysia, it'll definitely hook some people in just to see. Let's see what Malaysia's about, and then maybe they'll be like, oh, actually I like the show, and I'll keep watching.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, what are some changes you're hoping to see in the next season of Australian Survivor?
Well, if they go to Malaysia, I'm hoping they're near a cultural site. Sometimes, they used to do that. They used to have a reward challenge. They used to go somewhere. Do you remember that? In the US, they used to go somewhere for the reward. Go to a temple or go to an orphanage.
A local experience,
Yeah. Okay, I've just received confirmation it's not the Borneo site.
Oh, okay.
So, if they do Malaysia per se near KL, I think they'd probably use the south part of Malaysia rather than the north. But let's see. let's see. I went a couple of years ago. I love Malaysia. Love the country. I was really surprised that I loved it so much that I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been to Malaysia. It looks nice, but yeah. How about you, Australian Survivor members? You ever gone to
I've
Malaysia
stopped there,
or
like on a cruise, like had a couple cruises that have stopped there, and so I've spent like a day in KL and a day somewhere else. I forgot where. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that impressed. I didn't care so much for it.
Yeah. Well, how about you?
I was just at a port, and then it's like it took an hour to get into the city, and then they had to leave pretty much straight away. So.
Yeah. Well, what are some changes that you're hoping to see heading into Malaysia, like in terms of like production, challenges, casting?
Well, I think this season will be a good blueprint in terms of characters. Like you had a good mix of like entertaining characters who knew the game, and there were a lot of characters out there and a lot of people who just had never actually watched the show, and they were somehow hits. Like Jackson, was it someone told me Lottie? I don't think I'd ever watched, or
no, she's hardly seen the show.
Yeah. And I think Caleb had also like barely, like he wasn't such a fan, but he just so and they were actually hits, whereas like sometimes you get like players who just asked to play, like it'll be some random, I don't know, model or XAFL player, and it's like, well, what are you doing here? Like Simon Black, for example, it's like he didn't actually add anything in terms of entertainment. So I think the characters that they've picked and the people that they picked were great, and I think they'll try use that as like maybe a bit of a blueprint to get people out there, like the similar sort of entertainment value. In terms of changes, I don't know. I feel like that redemption situation was just overly complicated. Like, it was the whole like voting process, and then the like coming back into the game, and it was just like there was so much going on. I was like, this is just too difficult to follow. Like, and that's as a super fan who's trying to like tune in and like figure it out. Like, I can't imagine like the casuals watching that being like, what the hell's going on? Like, I thought I'm watching a show where like Survivor, you get your torch snuffed and that's it. But it was like, I would like to be in that situation. Like, I think just from like, because I'm a maths nerd, I spoke briefly to Rich about it, and it's like trying to figure out like, shit, what's the optimal play? How do I make sure I vote for someone to avoid myself getting voted out? But when I actually try to run the numbers, and I actually worked out, if you voted for someone, like if someone gets one vote, I think they're almost guaranteed to be in the top three. Like, assuming that there's going to be ties and whatever. But I was like, so it's just a bit of a weird twist, which I don't think was well thought out. And just the challenge editing, like I mentioned before, like if it's going to be a blowout, just show it as a montage. Don't make it. Don't dumb it down, or also like talk to the audience like the audience is too dumb to figure it out. Like, be more like natural and like real with those sorts of things, and then keep the drama for tribal council or whatever.
Yeah,
100%. And how about you, Michelle? Any other changes you would like?
Puzzles.
Just puzzles?
You know, and they don't have to be literally, jigsaw puzzles. It could be like on, do you remember on the US one where they had to go off to an island, or I think it was it was initial challenge. They had to work out like how many triangles were on this picture. And then to do that, they had to do something else. Incorporate it in some way that it's not just physical all the time. Put something else in there. That's what I'd like to do.
I was going to mention, I'm still a bit behind on Survivor 50, but I noticed in one of the challenges, and I think I've done it with a few of them, say there's 6 people in a tribe, there'd be 6 stations in the challenge. So like each person had to do a certain part of the challenge. Whereas in Australian Survivor, especially when you've got the like pushing this massive heavy thing, it's like, it's good TV, like it's entertaining to watch, but like you can only have that a few times. Like there should be challenges where it is like everyone needs to participate in some way.
Yeah, definitely. But also it's interesting that David said there's a theme that's never been done anywhere before. Now, there are a lot of survivors around the world. Does he mean just Aussie and US, or is he meaning every survivor this theme hasn't been done? I'd like to know what this theme is.
Yeah, maybe it's podcasters versus meme lords. It's just us against Brendan and Useless. How great would that be?
There's so many Survivor podcasts now. You could have podcasters against, I don't know, podcasters against fans or something.
And the slogan of the season is, "Who can out-fan them all?" the players who talk about the show, or the players who listen to the people talking about the show.
Yeah, and then the final 3 challenges. It's an endurance challenge, but you're just doing a podcast, and whoever drops out of the podcast first is out.
Yeah, whoever loses internet.
Yeah, whoever's fire alarm goes off.
You could have. Oh God, I had a really good idea then. Oh, you could have super fans against casuals. Could you imagine the super fan tribe? It'd be a hot mess. Whereas the casual go, "Oh yeah, let's just write off whatever. It'll be easy. It'll be so chill on the casuals, and the other tribe would just be a mess." I'd love it.
Well, I mean, we've even seen that in terms of players as well, where I feel like the players who haven't seen a lot of Survivor do turn out to be the better players than the ones who are actual fans of Survivor.
Yeah, because the super fans think too much.
Yeah, no shade to this man, but even with Tiz as well, a big part of our deep dive, which will be released before this comes out, was how that him, Caleb, Sally, and Rich were all kind of playing the same game and whatnot, but no one was willing to step up, round everyone up, and be like, "Let's go for Mark, Faith, or Keely."
Yeah.
No one wanted to take the leadership role, but I feel like with casuals, obviously Kirby is a massive standout. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll gun for David. Why not? He's only the golden god. Who cares?" Even with players like Luke and Shawnee even as well. They're these huge, massive stars, and they hardly saw the show before even playing. And and it's more natural talent rather than understanding the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They haven't done, which I don't think they would do in a lot of countries, because it's really a US Aussie thing. Country versus city. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that. Well, I mean, obviously, this is a theme that I'm super biased towards, but I do think it could be great. But the Bledisloe Cup, Australia versus New Zealand, just newbies.
Are they accepting New Zealanders?
Well, Loz was Kiwi, Kat was Kiwi, but they were both have Australian passports. So,
right.
Yeah.
But Loz lives in Australia.
What's that?
Loz lives here, doesn't she?
Chanel lives in New Zealand, but she used to be Australian.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she lived here.
Yeah, and yes, I think Jericho he's like Filipino, but I think he lived in New Zealand for a long while as well.
Then he had immigrated to Australia. Before that, it's in New Zealand. So.
Yeah. The one standout Kiwi, because we had Lisa try to quit, Kat blew up her own game of second boot, Loz did nothing. At least Jericho won. So at least we finally have something. What are some themes though that you guys would like to see moving forward?
I think I said what I thought it could be.
I think fans versus favorites is always a good one. Whether you call it fans versus favorites or heroes versus villains like Australia did. I think if you have half returnees, half fans, ideally you'd want to have actual fans, not what was that real estate guy, Fraser? You don't want people like him playing. But you want people that are gonna think it's I'm a super fan, I'm gonna come and dominate this game and be strategic, but I'm also gonna completely lose my shit because my favorite contestant is on my tribe. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna like fanboy or fangirl over their favorite contestant. So I think that's always a winner, always a good hit. Otherwise, yeah, I'm trying to think like some sort of like, but it always comes down like brains versus brawn. I was gonna say like jocks versus nerds, or I don't know, but yeah. At the end of the day, Australian Survivor themes are usually very loose. Like anyway, it's like they're not really villains or heroes or anything. But yeah.
Well,
I do need to start heading because I can hear Maya's starting to. It's my sense feeder.
Oh yeah. August. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, Australian Survivor Memes. You are an absolute legend, and I'll make sure to link your meme page in the description as well.
Yeah, the one that's not getting much traction last season. But anyway, thank you for having me. It's been fun. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much, bro.
Bye.
Bye.
One last thing Well, it was actually in the rumor mill, Michelle, but Australia vs. the World 2 was going to happen. Did you hear about this?
I know, but it's not. It's not happening now. That was going to be the second season. They filmed.
That was going to be the second season. Yes. Yeah. Who do you think they would have chosen?
Probably Simon. Maybe Simon Brooke. A winner in there that's worthy. Maybe
Ferris Miles, maybe.
Yeah. Females.
That's who I'm struggling with, to be honest. It's like we used to have all the good ones.
They might try and get Haley. I don't think Haley would do it.
I would love to see Sean again personally, but Samantha. I think Samantha Gash would be really good to come back.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would after Blood versus Water with how she was treated and whatnot. So
yeah.
I'd
like to see Pegleg. I'd like to see from UK. Dino from SA. I love Kelly Wentworth. Kelly Wentworth, not Wentworth. Wentworth. I was thinking of someone else. Gosh.
I know that originally when it was US against Australia before Jeff Probst got his hands involved, Tyson was apparently on the cast.
Yeah.
When it was Australia versus US, but he was cut. So
yeah.
Tyson would be
I'd love
great.
to see Rob.
Boss Rob would be so great.
Oh, Chappies. Yes, Chappies from SA. Definitely.
And I heard as well in the rumor mill that apparently they were always choosing between Chappies and Rob. And apparently it's like that throughout the whole casting, but then they went with Rob because he won. So
I meant Boston Rob before. Sorry, I didn't delineate. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Boston Rob would be
Palesa from SA.
Yeah.
God, there's so many good players.
There honestly is. Even recently I've been diving deep into the world of Survivor. There's a Survivor Israel as well, Survivor Serbia, Survivor Germany, Survivor Turkey. There's a 2-time winner in that who also won a season of the challenge, which was like a global one as well. So he's already won the global version of the challenge. He'd be so great to have in, Australia vs. World 2 and whatnot. Survivor France, obviously, like Survivor Mexico. There's so many different versions.
Wonder if
Finland,
I wonder if Survivor Israel is as crazy as Israel's Amazing Race. That's supposed to be absolutely insane. So I don't know. They make them do weird things. So maybe the Survivor's similar. That would be good to have someone from Survivor Israel if they're crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think have one player from every. Actually, how great would this be? The Survivor World Cup. One player from every single different versions of Survivor all together in one season. So
that would be good because there would hardly be any pre-alliances. I mean, how many Aussie survivors actually speak to US survivors? I know George has in the past. I know Christy sometimes does. But I really do not think Ferris or Miles are talking to you as survivors.
No.
So, there's not much pre-gaming that could happen.
Yeah. If you had to choose someone from the Australian side of things in a season like that, who would you pick now that David's the host?
Oh.
To represent all. So if you're the casting producer and someone's like, we need one Australian to represent in the Survivor World Cup, who are you picking?
Brooke, probably.
Brooke?
Challenge B, she's got to get to the end. She plays under the radar really well. Yeah, probably would. Who would you pick?
This might be no surprise, but I'm picking Luke Toki, baby. The king of the jungle. Are you kidding me?
He just played. You can't pick him.
So did Brooke. So did Brooke.
She didn't play World. She didn't play World.
Yeah, I'm talking like any play, including Australia vs. World.
No,
we're not going there.
Pick somebody else. No.
Okay, so no one else. Okay, all right. Sneaky Steve.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, so no one else from the Australia vs. World cast. Okay.
Why would you pick Luke again?
I would always pick Luke because I feel like Luke truly resembles. He resembles Australian Survivor though. He's got the physicality, strategic side, social game. He was a runner-up as well.
He's done it.
All right. I'm locking in my answer. I'll go with our friend, Mr. Ferris.
Yes.
I think Ferris would be pretty good.
If it had to be a male, Ferris, female.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. We made the Aussie team. Put both in.
Yeah. Well, but that does actually bring us towards the end of the podcast. Any other ideas you would love to see in a future Australian Survivor season, or a direction you'd love Australian Survivor to go in?
What I'd like, more promo events, not just one in Sydney or one in Melbourne. They tend to alternate with the seasons where they have the event. Obviously, it's always going to be Sydney and Melbourne. I know Brisbane and Adelaide, have major upheaval when they're not included. But it's going to be the big cities. And what I think they should do is one in each city. And I think they need to sell merch. You know what? People see someone on the street wearing a T-shirt or a hat or something, they'll think, oh, they must really love this show if they're wearing that shirt. I know people who actually look at people who wear band shirts and and they've thought, oh, I might have a listen to that band. I haven't heard them before. It's just the subtle things that can bring in viewers. The US juggernaut of CBS merchandise is just crazy, the amount of stuff you can get on the website. And it doesn't have to be a buff. It can be just something simple.
Yeah, it's quite funny because I went to a football game recently and there was actually a lightning storm that suspended the game. It was really crazy, but a lot of people there were all wearing Linkin Park shirts from the concert. And I was like, oh, I was there. I see you. I recognize you. So, definitely the word of mouth, I feel like is so popular, so strong. And I don't think enough people really consider that into marketing as well. I agree, more promo events, but I think as well, just keep making the show fun. I think the cast have been great. Obviously, with Brains and Spawn 2, the Brawn Tribe was pretty much completely purple, but the Brains Tribe was so chaotic, so fun. Titans vs Rebels, everyone on it was so much fun, Heroes vs Villains, even though it was heavily carried by Simon and George, there were also other players who did make the show really fun. So many great moments, great plays, whatnot, all this stuff. It's keep casting people who make the show fun. That would be my personal thing, because as everyone's been saying, you don't watch the show to see David or JLP, you watch it for the contestants. Even the season Redemption was just so fun. I enjoyed it. Caleb was fun. Jackson was fun. Simon, Brooke were fun. Keely was fun. Watching what I love so much about Australian Survivor is actually the editing and storytelling of certain players and whatnot. Watching the downfall of Mark and Faith, like you felt satisfied after they left. Like the rise of some players, and how sad we all are when Simon gets taken out, when Luke got taken out. Like they do such a great job with it, and it's like just keep on doing it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that does bring us to the end of the podcast, Michelle. Subscribe for Cheeky Naughty Times. School has started back up for you. So what's something cheeky and or naughty that's happened?
Yes. Oh gosh, just problems in the playground. This is quite normal and natural.
Mm-hmm.
But then, a staff member said to me today, "Oh, what are you doing on the weekend?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not doing anything because it's a long weekend in Australia for Anzac Day." Oh, and is it there as well? It's the first time they've actually had them. We're having another day off besides the actual day of Anzac Day. So I said, "Oh no, I'm not doing anything. I've just got a podcast tonight, and then that's it." And then I was just in a room before, and I'm like, oh God, I've got a big thing on Monday night. I'm actually going, you know how you do pub crawls sort of thing?
Yeah.
Well, this is not a pub crawl. This is a Korean drink called soju. It's a soju bar crawl that I'm actually starting sometime on Monday afternoon. And I do have to go to work on Tuesday. And I've just remembered I have to do this bar crawl on Monday afternoon. So that'll be fun.
That will be a lot of fun, and I hope that does go well for you, Michelle, because if you ever do come to Auckland, there is one thing I really want to do with you, and that is the beer cycle.
Oh, on the bicycle thing.
On the bicycle. So you ride your thing, you drink endless amount of beers. It is so great. I've never done it myself, but you ride. See, look, here it is. Sky Tower.
Cool.
There it is. It looks so cool.
I am someone who would do that. I am someone who would say, all right, for my friend's birthday, we're doing this. And then be going, what the hell are you making us do now? I do.
You know, I might actually do that for my birthday this year. Just be like, all right, guys, all I want to do is go on the beer cycle. That's all I want to do. I just want to drink beer and ride a bike all around Auckland.
What month is your birthday in?
It's in December.
Oh, so it's warm. See, mine's in July. It would be freezing. My friends would just have me. They'd be going, no, I'm not going out in 12 degrees riding around the streets. It might rain. No, it wouldn't work. That's funny.
Well, I was going to say, it is something that is quite funny. So since it's now officially winter, I have had the touch of a cold. And I was chatting with our dear friend Blanche. This is my Cheeky Naughty Times of the segment. I was chatting with our dear friend Blanche, who's an acupuncture, she's a health expert, and she was like, well, make sure you have your vitamin C. And I sent her a photo of me drinking a 2-liter bottle of strawberry milk. And I was like, here's my vitamin C. She was like, what the fuck?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's not even, it's pink, it's not orange.
No, it's pink. Yeah, because strawberry milk is just like cow's milk, but it comes from strawberries.
Right. There's lots of fruit in that. Yeah.
There's a lot of fruit. Yeah, but speaking of which, though, something that's cheeky and all naughty, Michelle. So we're currently doing deep dives across the season. So when this comes out, my interview with Usher will be out. My interview with Tez will be out. We are going to be chatting with the lovely Blanche. I'm so excited for that. And I'll also be having a chat with Eliza as well. So I'm so excited for that. And we might have a few other players maybe along the way as well. Useless Australian Survive Facts, and I will be doing a cast ranking of this cast as well. And then, Michelle, if you thought it was all over, it is not over, because while V and Drew are doing their very best to cover the worst season in American Survivor history, season 50, straight after, Drew's going to be doing 50 seasons in 50 days.
No, that's insanity.
And you're going to be his main co-host, Michelle. I'm not sure if I've signed you up. You have to watch every single season, every single day, then do a podcast about it. I've spoken about it with your boss. Your boss is going to give you the time off. Yeah. It
sounds like an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Why would anyone want to do 50 seasons, 50 days? He's obviously not working. How?
No, it's not working.
He's not going to rewatch.
He rewatches it. No, he does.
Every day.
He does. I can say this with full confidence because at first I did not believe it myself. But if you go back and look at the nullified take, 46 and 46, as you get towards the end, you see the bags under his eyes. You see how tired he becomes. It is so funny. And I can't wait for him to do 15-50. It's going to be really great.
Yeah, you'll see him by like 28, I think. His whole demeanor online will have changed.
Yeah. Well, the seasons I'm going to try and chat to him with is Caramel, because I think there's a very underrated season. Love this season. And Survivor Ghost Island.
Oh,
those are my two main ones I want to chat about. So, yeah.
Great. Lovely.
Maybe there is a twist for Australian Survivor. Survivor Ghost Island with the amount of people going with idols in their pockets. Easy.
Yeah.
Anyways, make sure you subscribe for Cheeky Naughty Times. Check us out for more amazing content coming your way. I've been your host, Muckyhope, ka kite anō, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Ciao.